I want to watch this. I didn't even know this is... I love how it says how microtransactions destroyed. You could just put a blank here and add in 15 or 20 other games. I remember this game used to be so popular for a while, and then somehow everybody just stopped talking about it for some reason. I don't even know why.
Plants vs. Zombies 1 was truly video game perfection. Reviewers couldn't find even one thing wrong with its simple, addictive gameplay.
Yeah,
Compare this to the recent Plants vs. Zombies 3, which people have called a game that straight up comes from a garbage can, in which watching 30-second ads for double coin rewards is more fun than the game itself.
Steam, I don't know if you guys saw this. Steam made one of the most base things recently. They said you can't put ads in your game. No ads in your fucking game.
Let's explore how Plants vs. Zombies eventually lost its way from an amazing tower defense game fall into the extremely predatory mobile game landscape. Firstly, what made the original so damn good? At a price
I think this is what happens with a lot of games, is that video games reach entropy, where like they reach a climax of player base and they reach a climax of sales. And then in order to continue growing the business, they then start trying to make money through microtransactions or some other form of bullshit. That's how it happens.
It's $2.99 in the App Store with no ads or extra in-game purchases. Plants vs. Zombies 1 was simply amazing value. The easy first level gets players addicted immediately.
In just one level, the game already indoctrinates you into its gameplay cycle flawlessly and in a fun way.
With one 5-star review writing, I won't say that the game is a cakewalk, but it isn't particularly challenging either. Still, the game offers enough mental stimulation that I never once grew bored.
That's crazy.
Due to the game's incredible variety, offering loads of different plants, zombies, and music, with comments stating the soundtrack alone is enough to make you want the game. This makes it so entrancing that people can play for hours, which led to crazy commercial success. In addition to almost perfect professional reviews, Plants vs. Zombies became the highest rated App Store product, having sold more than 300,000 copies in its first 9 days available, a new App Store launch record.
Another reason why games like this start off being very successful and then they become less successful is because in a lot of cases what happens is that they start off being simple and then they add in more and more complexity to the game that makes it harder for people to understand what to do, and then they lose interest in the game. Like, I think that WoW had this happen, and a lot of games have this happen, where just as more and more installments of the game come out, they add in more and more complexities, and then it just becomes overwhelming. It's old people problems? No, it's not. It's actually young people problems. Kids can't get into it because they can't understand it.
Has expanded the game to 13 other platforms, creating so much success for PopCap games that'd be bought by EA for $650 million.
Damn.
Yep, EA. The company was such an extreme reputation for greed, there's an entire Wikipedia page dedicated to criticism of the company.
Jesus.
People have called their use of microtransactions a plague, which sadly began to infect Plants vs. Zombies.
So they bought the game to infect it with microtransactions and to suck the life out of it.
On the 15th of August 2013, Plants vs. Zombies 2 came out, with one key difference compared to the first.
PopCap found a way to cram this game with as many in-app purchases and microtransactions as humanly possible, to the point where it's...
No one wants this. People in some cases will tolerate it, but no one wants it. Stop doing it. Companies do. Players don't want this. Having a store, this is what I think a lot of these companies don't understand. People that play video games don't see this and they're like, oh wow, this is so exciting, I get to spend so much money. No, it just sucks. The only reason that it works for gacha games is because it's full of a bunch of fucking simps that take their mom's money and buy it on their waifus. That's the reason why. Other than that, nobody likes this shit.
Many in-app purchases and microtransactions as humanly possible, to the point where it's too much of a hindrance for me to actually enjoy the game.
Plants vs. Zombies 2 features microtransactions.
Wow.
Unlike in the previous entries to the series, new plants can be purchased with real money, as well as upgrades and coins.
Dude, I hate video games nowadays. I do. Like, this is why, like, I I've been going back, like, actually, I don't even hate video games nowadays. I hate mainstream AAA multi-billion-dollar corpa games now. It's like they're all the same brand of slop, but there's just a different color to it. It's so annoying. Because the thing is, there are so many great games, but there's so many games that aren't so great too, right?
Certain plans could only be accessed using cold hard cash.
What? Double damage? Ignites a whole... That's insane for a tower defense. Like, I played tower defense games before. These are insane.
Coins could be naturally earned in-game. You could pay up to $52 to instantly unlock them. The Pirate Seas and Wild West levels can also be unlocked without earning all of the required stars. They cost $5.49 each to instantly access.
I get it. You've got to make money. It's like, I go back and I play a game. The thing is, like, you go back and you play, like, Elden Ring. You play Dragon's Dogma 1. You go back and you play Dark Souls 1. And there's just none of this shit in the game. There's none of this fucking bullshit in the game. Like, why? It's so weird. This is a massive downgrade of the character model because it's much easier to imagine you putting your dick inside of this one than this one.
People argued that every single character looked to be designed by a totally different person, each of whom had their own way of drawing. Yeah. There's full videos dedicated to the poorly designed...
People are talking around it. They don't want to say the real reason.
With the excessive discussion about this flaw being a meme within the community. This was because they'd hired a whole new team of designers and under suspicious circumstances fired George Fan, who designed PvZ1 all by himself. Well, an article later confirmed EA fired Plants vs. Zombies creator for refusing microtransactions in sequel, explaining that George had lost his job as he didn't agree with the pay-to-win model. He'd partially confirmed this by tweeting, regarding recent rumors, it is true I was laid off by EA/PopCap, and also true that I was against making PvZ2 a freemium game. That's all I'll say on the matter for now. Sure do miss paying for a game once.
Look at the profile picture. You can look at this man right here. And this man is the woolly mammoth of gaming. In maybe 20 years or so, many of these guys are going to be extinct. Actually, even now, this is what happens. You have the stupid little kids that have grown up buying advantages in video games, and then you have the old people. I guess they're sitting down because they're old. It's hard to stand up when you're old. And they're okay with it because they don't even care about video games to begin with. They're just addicted to Candy Crush. But this right here is the only group that's holding the line against video games becoming even more of a hellscape than they already are. If you are between the ages of 23 and 45, you experienced the golden age of gaming. Actually, 55. You experienced the golden age of gaming, where you could put a quarter in a machine and you could play a game. And then you could buy a game and it was complete and you would play it.
These elements led to videos claiming Plants vs. Zombies 1 is better than Plants vs. Zombies 2, but that's not to say that the second game was awful. It featured so many different plants it's hard to even count them.
I said about being too complicated? What the fuck is all this? You really think some brain-dead retard kid that's playing on a mobile game wants to understand all this bullshit? Absolutely not. It's way too complicated.
Offered 312 levels compared to just 50 in PvZ1.
See?
These PvZ2 levels were each set at varying levels of difficulty, better serving a wider range of players.
Nobody understands gamer psychology anymore. They just don't get it. All they understand is how to make money and eat hot chip and lie. That's it.
Second game therefore also received amazing feedback, with critics stating the game is just as enjoyable without spending a dime, and that you'll only need to pay if you're exceptionally impatient, or just not very good at these kind of games. The microtransaction model also meant the game was totally free, leading to 25 million downloads in the first 2 weeks, more than PvZ1 had achieved in 4 years. In fact, according to Hey I'm Jay, for every dollar the original was making, PvZ2 made 26,000.
What? I hope it was fun, guys. Blame the pay pigs? Here's the problem. In like an election, you can vote for or against something. But the problem with this is that you can't vote for or against this. You can either vote for it or not vote. You have one guy that's voting $1 and the other guy voting $26,000. Well, I wonder how that's going to go. I wonder who they're going to listen to.
And therefore make the original free for every player, although this meant people would be paying with their time.
It's free now, which naturally means that the game absolutely bombards you with ads. God, I love mobile games. There are ads before and after levels now, and even during, where the game tries to distract you as much as possible to watch a video for an extra item.
So your lawnmower is despawning unless you watch an ad? This is ridiculous. How does this even happen?
For every level you have to watch an unskippable ad, then sit there prompted to download what you watched. At the end of every level, you're forced to briefly play a different mobile game with the hope that you'll download it later.
Why? I paid to remove the ads, but now the ads keep... Oh my god. They add in ads, and then they give you an option that you can spend money to avoid seeing the ads. And then they add in an option to where you have to spend even more money to avoid sending the ads. So at that point, they've already conditioned you to not liking ads, and they've also conditioned you to spending money to avoid seeing ads. So a lot of people just pay up the extra money, and then they keep not seeing ads.
A microtransaction model, which was earning so much money for PvZ2 that start to build Plants vs Zombies 3. In the meantime, developers took a detour and put out Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare. This third-person shooter was certainly different, but extremely well received, achieving consistent reviews of 7 out of 10 or higher.
That's alright.
Garden Warfare was surprisingly amazing. I remember spending definitely over 500 hours grinding it as a kid.
Yeah.
They therefore released Garden Warfare 2, which was even more successful than the first, confirming the third-person shooter style was perfect for the series.
Yeah, style was pretty good.
When they announced what was basically Garden Warfare 3, developers likely expected another successful title. It was called Plants vs Zombies Battle for...
Let me guess. They tried to make it like Fortnite.
Which featured an epic trailer in 2019, gaining over 15 million views from super excited fans. But with people eventually stating,
"This whole trailer was fantastic and I love it. Too bad I love the trailer more than the game."
The game was a total flop. Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville is one of the worst games you've never heard of. Extensive posts like this called it a complete and utter disaster in almost every way, and one of, if not the worst multiplayer game I have played in 2019. It referenced problems such as bugs and graphical errors, textures and map design are absolutely horrible, whilst the characters all control awfully.
So it's not even that it was like Fortnite, it just sucked.
Since the sound design is absolutely garbage.
Damn.
Then, of course, there were the microtransactions.
These need to be unlocked, and the way you unlock these characters is through a specific challenge called giving EA $30.
See, there's still a few young guys that are out there that are still holding the line.
The game already costs $30 to buy, and you expect players to spend that twice in order to play the new characters?
As mentioned, the game already cost $40, but demanded an extra $30 to unlock every character, which could be unlocked by grinding the game out 3 months to earn one costume.
This is what Overwatch 2 did. Is they said, like, okay, if you want to earn something in this game, you have to, if you play for 6 months, you can get one thing that's worth $5. Like, I swear to God, like, you'd be better off just playing, like, the games at Chuck E. Cheese. You'd have a better return ratio. It's awful.
The game completely.
Oh my
Writing
God.
as a player who played the 2 previous games of this one, I can say that this game is a joke on the Plants vs Zombies franchise. Bad graphics, boring gameplay, boring characters. Compared to Garden Warfare 1 and 2, this game is very bad. They therefore stop updating it after only 11 months, leading to comments like it is so sad how fast this game died. If it had a little more time to develop and didn't have microtransactions, then it would have never disappeared.
It would have never appeared if it didn't have the microtransactions. The problem with microtransactions in a lot of these video games is that once these video games evolve to incorporate microtransactions into them, the entire video game acts like a funnel to get you to the store. And that's the problem with a lot of these games. It's never enough to just make a good amount of money. You always have to make more and more and more money.
Apparently the franchise didn't learn their lesson, as during that very same year, Plants vs Zombies 3 was nearing completion. That had 7 full years since PvZ2, setting high expectations for PvZ3. However, when the first bit of gameplay was posted to YouTube, people instantly First bit of gameplay was posted to YouTube, people instantly disliked it. PvZ1 skill, PvZ2 wallet, PvZ3 won't download it. Why? For starters, the game was now in portrait, which to be honest was probably more convenient, but at the same time it looked extremely weird. The lawn is literally horizontal. Why? Why is the display vertical?
It looks like shit. You've over-designed it. You want to know what this reminds me of? Big surprise, World of Warcraft. If you go back and you look at a lot of the old weapons from like BWL, if you look at the Nax swords, like the original Nax swords, you look at like a Black Temple, you look at like Soul Cleaver. The old weapons and the old armor in the game it had a fantasy vibe to it that wasn't incredibly well detailed, but it had flair. This doesn't have any fucking flair. This just looks like a retarded oddish. Who the fuck wants to play this? Wait, fuck or not? Well, no. Here, I can give you an example, okay? The old items had like a certain like stylistic flair to them that made them appealing and enticing. And the new ones are like over-designed, overly shaded, and they just don't pop. They don't have that artistic flair.
Gone from 2D to 3D and had another change in art style, prompting memes such as this. It is evolving just backwards.
Look at this. This is like Idiocracy or something like that.
Pea shooter model looked absolutely awful, which sadly couldn't be upgraded through microtransactions. With videos like Plants vs Zombies 3 is mechanically broken.
Look at that original Bowser. That Bowser is the Super Mario World Bowser. Completely fucking clean. Iconic, well-designed, simple, but badass. That's Paper Mario? It's based off of Super Mario World.
2 million views, PvZ3 was taken off the App Store. They'd re-release it 1 year later, to which people said compared to the alpha this looks great. However, again it still wasn't good enough. And in 2022, then again in 2024, receiving the same feedback at every single point. The game was simply boring.
There is just nothing to do in this game, man.
This sucks. Looks like an imitation of the real thing. Yeah, it does. It's like whenever, you know what it's like? It's like when people are like, hey, I fixed your art for you, and it's just worse.
Main quest that just sucks. 90-something levels of doing the same thing over and over and over is so boring.
I've just spent 3 hours playing the 4th beta of PvZ3, and I gotta say, how does EA get away with this? The game is 10,000% dumbed down, no more collecting plants, no more input on plant choosing, sun is now worth 1 and plants cost 1 to 5 plus, animations feel capped at 10 FPS, gameplay feels unfun.
The EA
Others
special.
complained it just had a scummy feeling.
Right out of the gate, it seems to just have that manipulative mobile game feel about it.
It's like one of those games where it's like there's like an obvious way that you can play the game to win, but the person who's playing it intentionally gets the character killed, and then it says play the game now, and it's like, okay, and then you do, and it's like not even the same game. Yeah, like one of those fake game ads, exactly.
Feeling.
Everything about this game feels off. It's like I'm watching an App Store ripoff of PvZ. As a result, it's still in development 5 years after its first alpha launch.
And Vegas video style, yeah, Epic started the graphics race, others followed because people always want to be better, but that isn't the best in most cases. The difference is that people don't understand the concept of less is more. That's the problem. This is worse than this. This is simple, easy to understand, clean. Like in a lot of design, like this is the way I look at it. If the question is, should we have this extra little element in the game for like graphics or not? The answer is usually no. This is you before you take your antidepressants, and this is you after. Now you're happy. Wow, the world looks so much better. Oh, wow, I'm so happy. That's it. Yeah, especially on mobile. Exactly. And this game is meant to appeal to like 6-year-olds. I'm sorry, but when you're adding in how many new fucking plants, That's too many fucking plants, man. What are you doing adding all this bullshit in? All these different, like, modes and everything. The reason why Fortnite is so popular, and it's continued to be so popular among young kids, is because they've never scope creeped Fortnite. They've always scope changed it. It's not like you have to deal with, like, 7 different levels of complexity that has built up over the years of Fortnite. They've just simply, like, basically shifted the complexity to something new. And that's it.